Alright guys, so here is my bullet journal currently. This is the bullet journal that I have been using since October of 2017. It was my first ever bullet journal, and this is the journal that taught me to fall in love with bullet journaling. So I have filled up most of this journal. Like I am way back in here somewhere, you know, on the very few final pages. And I went through this bullet journal and I found the spreads that I want to carry over into my new journal. And I'm not going to show you all of them, but I'm going to show you a couple of them that I will be migrating over, and then we are going to jump into the actual migration into that new journal. All right, so the first one that I'm going to be taking with me is my YouTube tracker and video ideas. Now, I still haven't like colored these two in. I recently hit 6,000 subscribers, which is freaking fantastic. So thank you guys so much for that support. But I did like the way this looks. So I will be taking a tracker over. I'm not sure if it's going to look exactly like this, or maybe, you know, I'll play with it a little bit and change it up, but this definitely needs to be taken over because I do like to track my subscribers and how quickly I am growing. And then of course we also have my video ideas. I did at one point start like coloring in all of the ones I had already done. There are a bunch on here that I've done that are not colored in because I just kind of didn't keep up with it. But these are two really basic spreads that I will be migrating over. And in the next one, my video ideas spread will be 2 pages. It won't just be, you know, a 1 page, because I do need the space for lots and lots of video ideas. All right, so the next one I'll be taking over is my future goals. And this is a really sad future goals. This was me just like, you know, starting this bullet journal, learning how to bullet journal. So one of my goals was publish Song of the Dryad. I did that on, you know, October 20th, and it's been amazing. Get a new vegan tattoo. I also did that. I have a vegan tattoo here and also a vegan tattoo there. So I did accomplish those 2 goals, but now my next one is to write another book. But I'm definitely going to have more of like a dreams and goals spread in my next bullet journal. So this is something that I want to take over to the new one. All right, so here, I don't know if I should cover this up. Maybe I should like cover up the names of these people. But this is my like critiques, and it used to be commissions when I was doing artwork for people, but I'm no longer offering artwork at this point. But I am doing a lot of critiques for people's work. I also just recently started taking a proofreading class through the Editorial Freelancers Association. So I'm planning on really diving into full manuscript editing in the new year. But as far as like a critiques and editing page, I'm definitely going to switch this up a little bit, you know, take it over into my new bullet journal so that it works really well. And then I also have a book sales page, and I went ahead and I covered up how many books I've sold and my royalties. I would be happy to make a video about this if it's something that you're interested in. You know, I'm not afraid to talk pretty candidly about the type of book sales and royalty that I'm getting off of those, especially for any of you that, you know, want to self-publish a book but you've never self-published before. This, you know, might help give you an idea of the type of money that I've been making. Song of the Dryad did just come out, so this does not have that information on there. This is just my old books. But, you know, here I was tracking the month, how many books I sold, and I was doing ebook and then paperback, and then also how much money I made that month. And then going into my new bullet journal, I'll be tracking each book as well as ebook, paperback, and hardback, since I have a hardback of Song of the Dryad now. Okay, these are just some of my like personal pages. I'm really interested in tarot. So I have a 2-page spread here of some of my favorite tarot layouts. This one I've pretty much learned. This one is still, I'm still trying to learn that one. So this is a spread that I want to take over. And then also a list of my favorite gemstones, some space clearing and energy work. I'll be taking these spreads over as well. Oh, and then of course, I want to take my bills over. This is a very super basic bills page. It literally just says rent, groceries, insurance, internet, phone, and I have a few others little, you know, lists here of bills, but I definitely want to migrate a bills page over and make it way more in depth. I've recently opened my first real credit card, good, and I'm building credit, which is awesome. So that's something that I'm going to need to track. So this will be, more of a personal spread. So I won't be doing this one today, but this is something that will be important to me to migrate over. Now let's look at some of my favorite spreads that I have done up to date. Let's see, so I would definitely say that my November spread, my November 2017 spread was probably one of my favorites. Also my Nanowrimo spread. I put a lot of effort into this one. I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, I didn't end up really using it because I didn't participate in Nanowrimo as much as I thought I was going to. This was a gorgeous spread, and my November spread is also so beautiful. My little kitty down here with all the leaves. And this was my first full bullet journal spread. So I learned from other bullet journalers on YouTube, and I was trying different things. I did figure out that this full month layout is not necessary for me. I don't really use it, so I haven't been using it throughout the rest of the year, but I do love how this spread turned out. Here you can see that I was just playing with different styles of like weekly spreads. So here I was using like a box system, still a box system here. And what's really interesting is that as I got busier, like last year at this time, November and December of 2017, I was really struggling with my mental health. I was having a lot of anxiety. I was having depression. I was in a pretty difficult place. And you can see that in my bullet journal. Like as I look back, I can see that because this week, you can see I did no colors. I was very, very minimal because even though I am a very creative person and I love spending time on my bullet journal, when my mental health would start to, slip and when I was struggling, you could see that I was no longer really putting a lot of effort into my spreads. When I was doing this kind of stuff or when I was painting everything, I was putting effort in, and then when you get to something like this, I can see that I was struggling. So it's interesting how I can look back on my bullet journal and learn things like that and remember things like that. So I'm really hoping that, coming up in this next year that I have, made progress with my mental health. I do certainly struggle quite a lot still, but I feel like I'm making progress. So it's interesting to be able to look back on this. And I do plan to keep this bullet journal and to keep my bullet journals in the future so that I can look back on stuff like this and really just, track my life, my progress, how I was feeling, what I was doing. That's really important to me. An Instagram tracker. This one, I really love how this turned out. So I will be taking, again, I will have like an Instagram tracker in my new one. I love how colorful this is. I had fun with that. Yep, and then right here, this was the, very end of December 2017. I took my first dose of St. John's wort. That's an herb that I take. It's just something that I do, and it does really help me high stress and anxiety. So I was really struggling, at the end of last year. But then I can also see that, I finished Game of Thrones. I hit 3,400 subscribers on YouTube. So it's really fun to be able to look back on this. And then for January 2018, because I had been struggling so much with my anxiety, my kind of goal was to embrace love and dismiss fear, which I've been, certainly trying to work on. And then I really like the September spread I put together. I had a lot of fun sketching this out and painting it, so I really enjoyed this one. And then my October spread as well. So I definitely saw that, when I started making bullet journal videos again, my spread started getting more colorful, more bright, a lot more effort, and that's really exciting because I love opening it up and seeing how much hard work I've put into it. So that's about it for this old bullet journal. I will still be using it throughout the month of October. There are a few pages at the end that I think I might practice my calligraphy on just to really utilize all the pages. But now we are going to be migrating into my new bullet journal. And these are both, a Leuchtturm journal. This one says bullet journal on it, and it came with like a bunch of like guidelines for bullet journaling, but this one did not, and this one is way cheaper, which is cool. This one has two, let's see if I can show you. This one has these two little flags down here, like page flags, and this one had 3, which was nice. But yeah, I'm excited to migrate into this one. You can clearly see the difference here. So we're going to just hop right into it. All right, let's get started. All right, so let's go through what I did for my migration into my new bullet journal. I am using natural light today, so it's looking a little bit different than it was at the beginning of the video, but we're just gonna go for it. So the other thing I wanted to show you is that I am using some Crayola markers this time around. I got a really good deal on these. I got a package of 50 for $7. I think they were mismarked. My mom found them for me and I swiped these up and they've been amazing. So super cheap and they work really well, especially the pale ones because you can outline things and they look nice. And then I also got these at Hobby Lobby. It's called Le Pen, and these are fantastic. They're extremely fine, and it really helps because I like to write very small, fine words and fine lines. So I've been really enjoying those. So this is kind of my new setup for now. All right, so I have not done my table of contents yet. I will start doing this though and filling that out. So my first little spread is my future log. I love this little duck that I cut out of a calendar actually. Greg brought an old calendar home for me and it has a bunch of beautiful wildlife paintings in it. So I will probably be like cutting it up and, you know, using that in this bullet journal because if you guys know me, you know how much I love animals, how important they are to me. So I decided to feature this little duck on my little opening page. So this is my future log this time around, which is a little different than how I did it last time. My last future log was a 2-page spread. I'll actually show you real quick. So this was my future log before. I really like it because it does show the, you know, the days of the week, which this one does not. So maybe I'll go through here and I'll jot down the calendar for each one. I'm not sure yet, but this was really simple. I did like it a lot. You can see that I definitely like wrote stuff in down here, but this time around, I think it would be just fine to draw a calendar. But this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of a future log. Super simple, just to jot things down, you know, about future dates. All right, next up, we have my dreams and goals page. I am a very goal-oriented person. I set deadlines for myself. I set goals for myself. And that's the way that I achieve everything that I achieve is by having these dreams and these goals. So up at the top, one of my favorite quotes, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. I believe that failure pushes you forward and it teaches you so much, whereas doubting yourself is just, you know, you're just gonna hold yourself back. So that's why I put that little quote up there, and then I have a box for my dreams and a box for my goals. Pretty simple. And then I outlined everything in this really nice like lilac color, and I think it's gorgeous. All right, so this is my new YouTube tracker and Instagram tracker. Very different from my last one. My last one was, circles for the YouTube and then boxes for the Instagram that I would color in, and I loved those. But I wanted more of like a month by month look at it. So here I have my subs, this is my YouTube, so the month and the year, and then the subscribers, the views of that month, and the income that I made that month. I do make a little bit of money off of YouTube. So I'm going to be tracking that so I can see if I'm growing, and if I am growing, which I hope to be doing, I want to see how quickly that growth is happening. And then over here on the right, we have an Instagram tracker, simply the number of posts that I did within a month, because that affects the number of followers I get. So if I have, 5 posts versus 15 posts, the followers are going to be different. So I'll be tracking the number of posts per month and the number of followers that I have at the end of the month. All right, next up we have a 2-page spread for my video ideas. This is just like the one that I had in my last bullet journal. You can see again, I use this beautiful lilac color to kind of outline the border. I think it's so fun. These are simple to use, these Crayolas, but they also they layer nicely. So for example, this is a little mushroom that I colored and drew and cut out. And you can see I was using one color green, but there's some nice dimension there because these colors do, I think I was using this one actually. These colors layer pretty well. So I definitely recommend these if you want a big set of cheap markers for your bullet journaling or, any creative stuff you're doing. These are really nice. But yeah, so a 2-page spread for my video ideas. I do have a ton of ideas that I haven't done yet that I will be bringing over from my old journal, and I'll be filling that all out. And then up here it says FEU, so filmed, edited, and uploaded, and then I just check the boxes. Next up, editing and critiques, because I will be, like I said, I'm taking some editing courses right now, and I do plan to start offering more professional editing services in 2019. So I have a spot here, again, 2 pages, the date, the name of the client, the details about what I'm going to be working on, the price of that thing, and then PSF, so paid, started, and finished. So this is just what I will be using to be keeping track of all of that in the new year. Oh great, I taped things together here. Oh no, all right, there we go. And then the last page I did was my book sales page. This older bullet journal is what I'll be tracking my release day and release month book sales in, because this is still October, but starting in November I will be tracking my book sales in this new bullet journal. I have the months, and then I have ebook, paperback, hardback, and then the income that I made off of all of those things. And then at the end of the year, or when I'm done with this bullet journal, I will be totaling everything out to see how much money I made and how much, how many ebooks, paperbacks, and hardbacks I sold. So this is a very basic start, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. These Crayola markers really just spice up the spread. I feel like I didn't use too many printables or anything. I thought I was going to. Oh, I guess I should mention that too, is that on this, where is it? On this page, this little book down here and the pencil up top, these were printables by Kelsey Lee at Abiding Kelsey Lee. She does have a Patreon page, and then depending on, if you're a $2 patron or a $4 patron or a $6 patron, you get different printables every single month. These were some of the printables from what she did for October. So I have these left over, and I'm just going to be using them all up, along the way. So I am extremely excited to start this new bullet journal. It is just as long as my old one. It does have the nice little, Leuchtturm pocket here in the back to hold all of my supplies. So that is it for this video, you guys. Yeah, I'm just such a bullet journaler now. It is totally a lifestyle once you really get into it, or now that I'm really into it, it's a lifestyle. So thank you so much for joining me for this video today. I truly hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye, guys.